Okay, gang, so I've traced my picture onto the panel. And you can see I erased the border lines that intersected the halo. And I drew my halo with this compass. I just took this against the drawing and measured it out and then put it on the panel. Okay, so now we're going to go over our lines with dark paint. And one of the reasons we're going to go over our lines with dark paint is because we're going to put all kinds of layers of paint on top. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I have this burnt umber paint and I'm mixing some clear glaze medium. So Joe Sonia clear glaze medium with burnt umber paint. And I don't sketch with the brush. You can see I'm using a larger round brush to mix in the glaze. Gonna clean this good. I always twirl my brushes to try to keep that nice point. Okay, so I've got two different sizes. This is a 0 and this is a 10-aught. This is a little thicker and a teensy bit longer. So I'm going to start with that one. And I am not going to film every line on this. I just want you to get an idea of how I do this. I try to do clean, unbroken lines. So I'm not sketching with the brush. I'm rolling my brush through the paint to try to load. Now here I got a little excess on there. You know, if this takes you a while, this starts to dry up a little bit and you need to add a few drops of water. You don't want your paint to be thick. If your paint gets too thick, it'll get clumpy. It'll look uneven. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to quick show you the face. That's the important part. But I would start with the hair because that's very forgiving. If you make some mistakes on the hair, it's not such a big deal. These are all guidelines for all the layering of all the colors on top. Now you can see down here, I must have gotten my hand in paint. I made a little splotch, no big deal. But other bigger round brushes can act as erasers. So let me go back. I also am going to take this little brush and I'm just going to paint in a pupil. I can see when I traced it, I made my one outline of the iris really tiny and the other one big. I'm going to go to a smaller brush here. Now, again, these are all guidelines now, and we're going to put all those layers of paint on top. So you don't have to worry so much if, you know, this eye is already a teensy bit bigger than the other one. I'm not going to worry about it at this point. We just have way too many layers of paint to worry about that right now. So I'm gonna come down the one side of the nose. I made his nose have like a little bump for some reason. We always give a teardrop bottom to that nose. And the big thing when you're doing lines is brush control. I almost use my brush, I hold it very similarly to a pencil. Others have observed. And Jesus has a very pleasant looking face, which is something I think you want if you're going to use it in meditation. Now you can see I got that line a little heavy, so I'm just gonna trim it up a teensy. I try not to belabor things. I don't get too concerned with wonky lines unless they're really gonna affect things down the road. Okay, so I'm almost done with this face here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn off the camera and I will take a picture of this when it's all done.